What is up, nerds? It is me, your buddy, your pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to think of the opening line I'm supposed to give you outside of my intro that lets you know what this is supposed to be, what this is about. I'm not sure yet. So if you have ideas, let me know down below. Like I should say something like, here on HeyArcher, we talk about all things nerdy, from comics to video games to movies to dating, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just came up with it on the spot just like that. I'm not sure. But I guess here on HeyArcher, we talk about that kind of thing. If you're new here, again, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified when all these new videos come out. If you're listening to the podcast, leave a nice review. If you liked it, of course. I'm not going to beg you for reviews on something that is terrible. But I'm just saying, if you don't leave a good review and continue to listen, you might miss out on some fun things. You know, stick around for a bit. You might like it. But first things first, I do want to say I'm drinking out of the HeyArcher mug. Thank you to all of you who applied to win a mug this week for 150 subscribers. You guys did the Lord's work, I will say. Thank you. Soundboard coming in nicely. Now, you guys, it's funny. A lot of you should have been entered to win. And I had left the instructions to like, comment what you're doing for the quarantine, and share the video. And only, I think, 3 people actually did all the steps. But many more of you had actually applied. So you just got to read the instructions. But don't worry. I might send a couple extra ones just to be nice. But I actually, this week, did not put out a lot of content. So for those of you who watch my YouTube channel, I think I only put out maybe 2 or 3 videos this week. Let the ball drop a little bit. But do understand that whenever I do that, it's because I'm working on something for you. And if you're listening, I'm pointing at the camera. Right now, as you are watching this show, if you are watching, the setup might look kind of the same. There is one new component that is potentially on screen, and there's one that's off screen. So, on screen, I have an HDMI switch on the desk. And what that allows me to do is have multiple HDMI cables running into the computer, and I can switch which input I'm coming from. That might sound like French, and it might not make any sense. But the reason why it's important is right now, the camera is plugged into an Elgato 60S Plus, maybe your 60DS Plus. It is a capture card that allows me to use my camera as my webcam. So if you happen to watch HeyArcher Live this week, you saw the entire thing completely screw up on me. And it was hilarious, and I predicted it would happen. But I think I may have solved it, right? One part is with the HDMI switch. The second part is actually, I found an adapter that allows me to plug in my camera into direct power. So the battery on the camera doesn't die, which was part of the problem, I believe, in the camera not staying on for the stream. So a lot of new moving parts are happening right now. And the unboxing video for the Elgato will come out probably this week. The only reason I didn't do that was I couldn't get it to work 100%. And I didn't want to do an unboxing / review without knowing that it works for sure. So this podcast actually will be part of the demo to make sure that it works. Because so far, so good. And what's nice is that with Ecamm, I can see what's going on the camera. I can see whether I'm in focus or not. I can have my HeyArcher tag already up, so I don't have to add that in post-edit. The sound effects and all of that. So all I'm saying is we are making moves. We are making moves. The other thing I was trying to work on this week for all of you is more than just this mug. So the HeyArcher store, I guess. I'm not sure how to label it at the moment. That is coming. I don't have a timetable yet. That is coming. A lot of things were worked on this week. The reason I'm going to say them now on this podcast is those of you who listen to this podcast or watch it are the hardcores. So you're getting the news before everybody else. But I worked on a couple designs, a couple t-shirt designs. But most importantly, I was working hard today and yesterday on how to make it cost effective for you. Because I'm going to try doing what's called drop ship printing or drop ship shipping, something along those lines. Print on demand, essentially. And what print on demand is it allows you to go on a website, right? There's different apps for it, different websites. The most popular one probably is Teespring. Now, on some YouTube videos, if you look down below, you sometimes will see like their t-shirts there and like other merchandise. That's Teespring. Teespring is a print on demand. But the one I went with was called Printful. Now, the way the concept works with print on demand, and it's something if you want to make your own merchandise, you should look into it for sure. With print on demand, it is pretty much what the name implies. You upload an image, a text, a word, a picture, whatever it may be. You find the medium you want it on. So in the case of the mug, I wanted it on a mug. And you can then order it, shows up at your door. And what's great about a site like Printful is that on the packaging, from what I saw online, and I was impressed when I received it, it is more impressive than just like they just threw it in a bag. You know, it has like your brand name on it if you want it. They can add a tag to your merchandise. Like they can add like, you know, the HeyArcher logo in the shirt or something like that. There's a little more they can do to it. But it's cool because you're just like, there's no inventory. You know, I'm not ordering 50,000 mugs and then having to store them behind me and then ship them individually. I can tie Printful or any print-on-demand shop. I can tie that to the website, and then you're ordering on the website, and the orders are being fulfilled and shipped out. So print-on-demand, if you're thinking about making merchandise, definitely look into it. At the moment, there are two downsides I'm seeing to this whole process, right? Actually, three. I'll list three things. The first one is due to COVID, shipping on everything is delayed, just worldwide. But most importantly, in the print-on-demand world, you know, these facilities, especially if they're in the U.S., where there is more caution to safety and cleanliness, making sure the workers are safe, the delivery teams are safe, because all of that is happening, it's delaying a lot of the shipments. So even my mug, it arrived about 2.5 weeks after I ordered it, I want to say. So I've been hesitant to release things because I don't want you to order it, get excited, and then it shows up in like a month. So I may have no choice, and I might have to do it that way. But initially, that was my hesitation in rolling this out, you know, maybe 2 weeks ago versus now. Or actually, it's still not fully rolled out, but developing it, I should say. The second thing is by doing print on demand, finding a way to make it not be super expensive to you is very important. And that was probably took me the most amount of time from yesterday into today. I love making Excel sheets, but I don't have Office, so I was using Numbers, and Numbers is terrible. So it was taking me a little bit longer, but today I used Numbers, and I made a bunch of formulas to figure out what's the best way to have all of you purchase things and not pay like premium dollar for it, to make it reasonable. So when the site launches, you'll see that. I'll kind of explain it when the time comes. But essentially, you're going to have most of the merchandise where you buy it and there's a cost to shipping it and all of that. And then there's going to be a separate category for things like the mug, which inherently, because it requires more packaging and urgent care, I'm going to have you buy that separately, because I don't want something as simple as a t-shirt to have an elevated shipping cost because of a mug in that order. If that makes sense, I guess. So a lot of time was spent. I was up till 3 a.m, I think, doing the initial formulas, and then I was up until like probably 9 p.m. Or 8 p.m. that I was actually on the computer just doing scenarios like, all right, if you bought this, this, and this, how does that look? Would I want to pay for that? What do I think that's reasonable? Because none of this is being done in a way of like, oh, I'm trying to make, money on this. This is more of like, I think it's fun. I think some of you will like some of these things. So I'm not marking things up because I'm trying to like make profit on this. I just want to make it and you can buy it. Which actually brings up another point. With a site like Printful, I did pay for it, I think. I wish I could look it up here, but the computer's being used for the video stuff. But with a site like Printful, you could just make your own stuff. Like if you're just like, hey, I want to make the Steve line and I'm the only person that wears it, you can do that. Like you can just make a design, they print it, they send it to you, and now you have your own shirt that's like your brand. And what they do is if you're doing essentially the samples, which could be your only one, you do get a discount on the first 3 samples. So that's something to consider if you just want to even just mess around and make your own stuff. But going back to the second point, trying to get it shipped to you in a decent price point has been the struggle. So I believe I figured it out. I ran a bunch of scenarios and it seemed like that was the most logical way to do it. So that way you're not paying exorbitant costs for just a mug when you just want to get a couple shirts too. So you all should like that, hopefully. And then the third thing about the whole print-on-demand dropship thing that I'm not digging too much is going to be not having the inventory in my hand. So, I could, in theory, order a bunch of stuff. And like, let's say, I plan on, if somebody lives local, they want to buy it, I can just take it to them. I could do that. But it's going to cost me way more to do it this way than if I had went through some sort of manufacturer that's like, all right, we'll make 100 t-shirts and, we'll charge you this amount for that kind of thing. So it's got its ups and downs. Primarily, it's going to be an inventory thing that is a plus and a minus. But because of that, the shipping costs are a little high. And I think Teespring is a little bit cheaper, but you then get cheaper quality as far as the packing goes. I've seen some things online about even the quality of shirt you're getting, with the text and consistencies with, where a picture may be and all that. So that's why I ended up going with Printful for now. The mug came out great, so let's see how the rest comes out. I need some sort of like music to play. So here, as I take a drink from my HeyArcher mug, which will be on sale in the near future, I will play the Thundercats for you. I thought it was going to be longer than that, but it wasn't. So there's that. So that was one part of it. Of my week was full. I mean, it was this quarantine. I think it's starting to get to me. It's probably getting to you if it's getting to me, because I tend to be pretty resilient on a lot of things. But quarantine's starting to hit. But building the HeyArcher marketplace was a big one this week, and the other half of that was designing everything, designing the things I want to make. And I give a lot of credit to everybody who does that for a living. I spent an entire evening until about 2 a.m, I think, trying to learn Illustrator, which had its own problems, and I couldn't tell if it was just me or the computer. And then it's like, when do I use Illustrator versus using Photoshop? When do I use, this versus that? How does this talk to that? Well, it's like, it's a lot. So I can understand why people at a certain point just pay somebody to do it. But I'm not at that point just yet. But shout out to all the graphic designers, typographers, advertisers, marketers. Shout out to all of you. That is hard work. That is tough work. But it reminds me of a conversation I had this evening where I think I talked about this on HeyArcher Live. I can't remember. Or if it was another episode of HeyArcher. Where, I was asked, why am I even doing this? Why am I even putting in all this effort? And it also ties into another topic that comes up a lot in the various channels I'm in, which is, what's your motivation to even do it? So to give you both points again, why am I doing it? And what motivates me to do it? And they both kind of have the same answer. As I was explaining on the phone, why I'm doing all of this, the question really was, but what's your end goal? Like, why even do it? Why put forth all this effort to do X, Y, and Z? And the only thing I could think of was, and I hate to make things religious, but this is the only context I've ever seen it, was in religious application, is I feel convicted to do it. And it's something where I feel like, as a creator, which is what I think I am, I've always felt like a creator. I've never felt like I was a good creator, but I feel like I'm a creator. I've always desired to make things and build things, and most of it is in a more artistic way versus a engineering type of way. So where I would rather express a thought in a costume, I do it that way versus I'm going to rebuild a car engine, if that makes sense. So even in all of this, I just, like, if there's a day where I just sit down and I watch TV and I don't do anything, I feel like something's wrong, cheating myself, cheating you, the watcher, because, we've grown this channel over the last year. I just feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself and to you. And I don't think a lot of people have that towards various things. And it depends on what it is that you like to do. But, for some, it's like, it's a similar feeling, I'd say, to like the gym, right? Remember when the gym was a thing? That was cool. But, there's days where if you're a gym rat, choosing to go out for dinner or choosing to go to the beach as opposed to the gym, it's hard. Like, you have the conviction. You're like, I need to go to the gym. Like, I can't explain it. I can't, it's just who I am. It's just what I do. Don't try to change me or whatever. I feel the same way when it comes to this. Like, I made the vision board, and on the board, one of the things was merchandise. Just want to make it. And part of it, actually, thinking back, I wish I could remember what episode it was or what was the topic specifically, but I remember Supreme came up on something complex related. Or no, it was, there's these guys on YouTube. I mean, there's people on YouTube that do everything, but there are these guys on YouTube that review sneakers and style and like streetwear. I think it's streetwear, and then beneath that, they're talking about sneakers and the outfits and putting them together, that kind of thing. And they're talking about, this designer, that designer, and Supreme always comes up as like the number one streetwear. And, Supreme now has reached a level where you're paying X amount of dollars for, it could be a black shirt that just says Supreme on it, or this mug that says Supreme on it, or, anything. It just says Supreme on it, right? And the brands, according to, Pat Flynn, who I encourage you guys to watch every week, Pat Flynn was even saying a brand is something that like people talk about when you're not in the room. And something like Supreme, I was like, that's so simple and yet so popular, and people just gravitate towards it, and they want to be a part of it. They want to talk about it, and they want to just see it, and just like having it and just looking at it and it's saying Supreme, like, forces them to spend hundreds of dollars on something that costs like $5 to make. And I kind of had that moment of like, well, I mean, if you can do it, I can do it. If you can make a Supreme coffee mug, why can't I make a HeyArcher coffee mug? And that's what kind of started getting the ball rolling. And again, it's not even I'm trying to be at Supreme's level of anything. It's more of like, if you can do it, why can't I do it? Type of thing, which is, I think, always been part of my mentality. So it's like, yeah, I watched, I don't want to say his name because I've been having ill feelings towards him lately, but there's a podcaster out there who came up with a phrase on one of his shows and was like, oh, I'm going to put it out on a sweatshirt. And he has one sweatshirt and it says that phrase on it. He sells a lot of them, and the cost, I think, was a little high on it, if I remember. But I was like, if you can do it, why can't I just do that? And hey, one of the things I push on this channel all the time is I want you guys to do what it is you want to do. And that's part of the conviction, is I want to show you that making a mug, as simple and as stupid as it may be, but just making something that has your name on it or your brand on it or whatever it is you want on it. These aren't things that are like somebody with like infinite intelligence is like coming up with, and they can do that. Or like you making your own YouTube show that has decent lighting and decent sound. These aren't things that like you have to have a movie studio or a production company to back you on. You don't need a podcast studio to do any of these things. Like, you can do it. You can just start right now. You can hit the like button first, then you can subscribe, and then you can exit the video and then just record your own thing and then just start doing it. And that's the conviction I have, is I want to almost pull back the veil and show you that it's just that simple. Like, you can just do whatever you want. Another actual great example of that I used to watch a lot, and these days I don't because it just doesn't interest me anymore, is the Baileys, Dana Lynn and Rob Bailey. Dana Lynn Bailey got famous for being a bodybuilder. And then, of course, our YouTube videos of her training, and there was that big like resurgence of fitness YouTubers in like, what was that, 2012 maybe? She got super popular. And then I'm watching, Rob Bailey, and he's kind of the man behind the camera, her husband, doing the magic. He's recording, he's up all night editing. And then eventually he's like, all right, we got to like have merchandise. How do we do that? All right, I'm going to buy a print press. We're going to do it ourselves. All right, we need to have a gym, but we don't have access to the gym all the time. All right, we're going to buy this stupid warehouse. We're going to buy a bunch of used equipment. We're going to make the gym ourselves. And just little by little, he just kept leveling it up. And I would see, I remember specifically what was happening in the video. I don't remember which video it was, but he was in his gym and it was winter, and I was working in my construction job because I went and I grabbed my buddy, and he's in the gym, and he has those portable heaters with the torches on it, like you see like at an outdoor restaurant in like the fall or whatever. And he has those around the gym, and they're lifting weights, and that's like one section. And then he's like, oh, in between sets, he's like, I want to go work on my car or go see how my friend's working on my car. And he walks over, and he's got like all his used cars there that they've paid to, pimp out or whatever. And, there's his fun toy car that, he bought for nothing, and he pays his buddy to work on the car for him. But they also now run a body shop out of that thing. And he's like, all right, let's go check on the new sweatshirt design. Right. And he walks over to that corner, and then they got a crew there working on the sweatshirt and packing the sweatshirts. And it's like, he just did it. Like, he just started with jack shit. Had nothing. And I was just like, all right, I want to do this, so let me just do it. And I sat there for like 10 minutes. I was like, I hate this guy. Look at all this cool stuff he has. He's got the weights. He's got the cars. He's got the ATVs, all that stuff. And then after he finishes all that, he's like, I'm going to go to the office. And he walks to the back of the office, and there's a mattress on the floor next to a desk. And he sits there, and he edits the videos. He comes up with pricing plans, comes up with a schedule, and he's like, all right, gotta go to sleep and get a couple hours. He sleeps on the floor, wakes up, goes back to the desk, does it again. And he's always trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure it out. And I was like, wow, I was like, this, a lot of times we look at the end result of something and, you think, oh, that's so far. I can't do that. It's too far out of reach. But not everybody, most people, right? Majority of people had to start somewhere. And a lot of times you're not seeing that mattress on the floor scenario. You're not seeing the meals that are missed. You're not seeing the dinners that are missed or the outings that are missed, the vacations that are missed. You don't see any of that stuff. You just see the end result. And a lot of hard work goes into it, but it's all attainable. And hopefully all of you who watch the show religiously, watch my content religiously, you're able to see the level up happen. And while it's gradual, it still happens. And I want you to do it too. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be this. But if there's something that's in your head and you're like, I want to do that, but it's too far, just start. Just start it and see what happens. Maybe you'll hate it and you're like, at least I tried. But at least you tried it. And hey, someday maybe you have a mug. Maybe you have your own DJ t-shirt. It's crazy. It's crazy what you can do when you just kind of go for it. But you got to find the thing that you're convicted on. The thing that makes you just, the camera turned off. Hang on. I got to turn the camera back on. I'm so happy that happened because now I know that the camera, even though plugged into the battery, still turns the screen off after about 30 minutes. So I got to figure that out. I need to figure that out. Oh, and of course, thank you. But hey, I've already run out of time on this lovely episode of HeyArcher. Actually, if you don't want to hear anything about Star Wars, you can exit now. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the review. Because I did not do a 2-minute review yet on Clone Wars that happened this week. So I'll do that now. And I'm actually going to give you more than 2 minutes on this review because this episode needs more than 2 minutes on it. So, again, if you want to stop here, thanks for stopping by. HeyArcher Live. I'm pretty sure I'm doing them every Thursday now. I didn't check this week's schedule, but I think this week's the same as last week. So it should be up on Thursday, 3:30 Eastern. Come over to the channel. If you want to submit questions to be on HeyArcher Live, if you want to even guest star on HeyArcher Live, hit me up on social media, HeyArcher on everything. So it's just at HeyArcher. The only exception now is TikTok. It's HeyArcher the #1 because somebody has HeyArcher and they don't even do anything with it. You can also email me, heyarcher1@gmail.com. So 3:30 on Thursday, HeyArcher Live. More unboxings and stuff happening this week. But I gotta do what's right. And I gotta talk about Clone Wars. Let me just look up what number episode that was. Episode 10. All right, so I was so into the merchandising, the pricing, all of that I just couldn't stop to do the 2-minute review. And I also felt like it needed more than 2 minutes, and it does. So it's going to go a little bit longer. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. This arc that's happening now blatantly is what they intended to make, what they wanted to make, and somebody somewhere was like, you need to do 12 episodes. And they gave us all of that filler in the middle. None of that middle filler, and again, we still have 2 episodes left, so there could be something that happens, but none of that. Freaking Ahsoka, the sisters' names, I can't remember their names. Trace, it was Trace and something else. None of that even mattered to what's happening now. Holds no weight to what's happening now. The Bad Batch arc, it was cool. I give it that. It was cool. Didn't need 4 episodes though, but it gave us some closure on, the whole thing with, I think it was Fives. It gave us that. And I hope they bring him back into this arc to make it kind of go full circle. But none of it holds any weight to what's happened in these 2 episodes. And the majesticness, the majesty of them talking if Maul talking in real time to what's happening in Revenge of the Sith. When they're like, when Ahsoka's talking to Obi-Wan and she's like, you gotta, can you guys come help us? Maul, we're not getting him. And he's like, nope. He's like, Anakin's with the Chancellor now, spying on him. She's like, what are you talking about? And then Ahsoka goes to meet Maul, and Maul's like, I was hoping Anakin would be here. She's like, why? So you could turn him or whatever? Because he's the chosen one? And Maul's like, no, what are you, stupid? He's like, he's not the chosen one. He's the one meant to destroy all of us. I have to stop him. And you're like, mind blown. Just mind blown that they knew that the bad guys knew that Anakin was being groomed by Sidious. Something as small as that. So much weight is held on that. So much weight on that. That you even saw those moments in Ahsoka's eyes where she's just like, it's only reassuring what she knew was the reason she left the Order. The Jedi Order are not, they have no control. They're merely pawns. And as she's there watching, and what I love about this, by the way, is you don't have robots killing robots here. Like right now, Ahsoka's looking at humans fighting humans. In right there, death. And this whole war has just been, it's us versus the clankers. It's us versus the robots. Just kill robots. And she's there and she's watching and just seeing this like mass death and seeing the Republic like protect the Mandalorians, but really it looks like they're being enslaved. It's like she's seeing in real time that she was blinded. They all were blinded. And the fact that they can do that in these 2 episodes alone is just next level, and only makes us want more Dave Filoni Star Wars. It's insane, utterly insane. The fun thing is, and I pose a question to you. This has been going on online. I didn't know it was a thing until I think yesterday. People are debating whether Ahsoka is stronger than Maul, and therefore is Anakin stronger than Maul. So I'm very curious to hear what you think. Do you think Ahsoka is stronger than Maul, or she got lucky? Do you think Maul could take her on if there were no outside factors? But most importantly, do you think Anakin could take on Maul? Do you think Anakin, if he went one-on-one with Darth Maul, could he take him? Because remember, Obi-Wan couldn't do it forever. Through all of Clone Wars, he never schooled him. It was always very close. So, it's debatable whether Anakin is a better duelist than Ahsoka. One can assume so. But Obi-Wan Kenobi also beat Anakin. It's like MMA math for all of you UFC nuts. But fantastic episode. Episode 10 was just amazing. I was hoping at the end of the episode, like at the very last 2 seconds, you'd have the moment where all the clones just picked up their communicator and then Palpatine pops up and then credits. Like that would have been sick. Absolutely sick. But it is the next 2 episodes could suck and I don't care because 9 and 10 were amazing. And I hope you guys have been liking them too. So we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully Order 66 happens this week. And then if Order 66 is this week, then next week should be just Ahsoka just getting out. Just trying to get out. But she lost her lightsabers, so that's good. I was concerned about that. I thought they were changing how she got her white lightsabers. She lost them in this fight, so they did cover that, so we're good. We're good, Dave. We're good. But hey, thank you for being here. To all of you who listen, whether it's one video every month, one video every year, or you listen every day, I appreciate you all the same. And I only want to make this better. I heard an echo for some reason. I want to make this better for all of you. And I always want feedback on what you guys want to see on this channel. So find what you are convicted on and do it. Do it. And of course, I will talk to all you nerds. Real quick, I was about to change that to talk to you, because in listening to Pat Flynn, he always says with the podcast, I should talk to you directly. But it's so ingrained in me to just say, I'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace.